Morning. It's October the 23rd. I'm just going to adjust my mic here for a minute. Apologize for the noise. There we go. Hopefully I didn't accidentally disconnect it or anything stupid like that. No. Anyway, as I was saying, it's October the 23rd. I'm in the Ritchie neighborhood of Regina, and it's 2 degrees Celsius, which is, about 36 Fahrenheit, and it's windy, so it's a chill morning. But actually right here, I did this, the Ritchie Community Center it's called here. But this is why I'm here, is because the farmers market has moved down here. There's also a library in here, the Prince of Wales branch. And you can see there's it's a hockey arena, but it also has a basketball court, and it's the guys shooting hoops over there. So this is the Ritchie Neighborhood Center. And the farmers market, when it moves inside, moves to the Ritchie after being outside downtown during the summer. And there's still a few outside things. So I came and bought some tomatoes here from the Heliotrope, I think it is. Is that what they call the gardens? I think so. So I just bought some tomatoes, and now I'm going to take a walk while I'm here. This bump sign always reminds me of the thing from The Little Prince. Everybody said the kid had drawn a hat, but it wasn't a hat. It was this boa constrictor that had eaten an elephant. It's not a hat at all. We'll carry on around here. So there's a big meeting room in there, and that's where the farmers market is right now. Except for the one remaining vegetable stand back there where I just bought the tomatoes. I don't have a particular plan for walking in this neighborhood, so we're just going to wander a bit. We'll come down here by the other side of the Ritchie. There's a skating rink in here, among other things. Behind those windows, Prince of Wales branch. When I came here before, I was actually walking basically on the south side of College over there. And I just came up this way because it was interesting. Now I'm starting here, so we'll stay on this side of College, I think, and see how that plays out. So you see, here's the Ritchie Community Association offices. Never been actually in the rink part. I'm sure there's a rink in there. Never been in there. And not going in there this time either. So there you go. We'll just do a street by street thing here, I think. But we'll walk down to College and then back up, I think is what we'll do. I just made that executive decision. And I'm in charge, so I can do that. It's Saturday. So, besides buying tomatoes, grocery shopping on there's kind of the whole thing there. Grocery shopping is on the agenda. There's also a spray park over there, but clearly nobody's out there today. Tennis courts. And there's a school over there, which I walked by before, but won't today because I'm not going that way. Anyway, grocery buying day, and that's about it. Oh, we're going to a dinner tonight, German Wine Society. Having a dinner tonight. We're going to that. Out at the Royal Regina Golf Club. I've walked by the edge of that golf course a few times when I follow the pathway. It takes me by there if I go far enough. It's a podcast weekend. Sometime this weekend I'll have a new podcast episode up with Noah Lemelson, is the author's name. I talked to a really interesting fellow this last week. He's the only author I've talked to whose science fiction novel has a foreword by General Wesley Clark, the former Supreme Commander of Allied Forces Europe. And the man himself, the author, Brendan, his last name's escaped me. Well, it'll come back. Longtime military man, retired as a lieutenant colonel and ended as a civilian consultant, defense consultant. Had quite an interesting professional career, and I was getting his law degree late in life. So, very smart guy. I really enjoyed talking to him. That one will be up in a couple of weeks. I started reaching out to authors who were guests on the here we are in College Avenue now, who were guests on the podcast during the third year to see if they want to be part of Shapers of Worlds Volume 3, Shapers of Worlds Volume 2, the anthology featuring science fiction fantasy by guests of the second year of my podcast, will be available November. www.books2read2.com/shapersofworlds2 books2read.com/shapersofworlds2 to pre-order. So I'm already looking forward to trying to kickstart Volume 3, and I have authors like Kat Rambo, Cory Doctorow, Walter John Williams, Sebastian Castell, James Morrow have already said yes, and I haven't even heard back from most of them. So I think we certainly should have a good, solid set of authors again for Volume 3. A lot of bare trees, but that one's bravely holding on over there. It's about the only one on this street, actually, that's still hanging onto its leaves. Right next to it. That one gave up. And the one on this side of it gave up too. So far, nobody has said hello this morning. Are you out there? Am I all alone? Is anybody watching on YouTube or Facebook? Say hi if so. Let me know if my sound's working, because I did play with my mic and I'm worried I might have screwed it up somehow. Some new, much bigger houses compared to the very small houses that were originally built in this neighborhood, probably post-Second World War. And there's a bit of a housing shortage. Small and close together, so some developer is maximizing his... Hi, yeah, I haven't seen you on here for a while. Some developer maximizing his... how many houses he could sell in the neighborhood, it looks like. Because they're really close together and quite small. It's 15th Avenue. Has been fairly busy, I noticed. When I parked on it down there. So I'll keep my heads about me. My heads. I only have one. Oh, hi, Charles. I'm good. This sounds good. Okay. I didn't think I disconnected the mic, but I was playing with it a bit, moving it up a little on my... it's on my zipper on my coat, and I wanted my zipper a little bit... I wanted my zipper up a little higher, so I moved up the mic. They're tiny little houses, but they are little. I mean, they go back. But they're quite small. Most of them, not all of them. This is the Al Ritchie neighborhood. I don't know who Al Ritchie was, but he got a neighborhood named after him. And then the community center was the core Ritchie, but that's because the next neighborhood over towards downtown is called the core neighborhood. And the community center serves both the core and Al Ritchie neighborhood, so it becomes core Ritchie. Hey, what are you doing out here? I'm leaving. Dog got out of his fence there. Fortunately, he was all bark and no bite. Sounds like he belongs to her, so hopefully they get that sorted out. This is 14th. Well, that was exciting. I didn't show you the dog, so I was too busy keeping an eye on him to make sure he wasn't going to nip on my heels. There's some Halloween decorations there. He was big enough to have been of concern if he was actually a biter, but he wasn't. Just a barker. And these small houses. But here's a brand new one. All garage. It's the only one along here that has a front garage. I don't like front garages for that very reason. That's what you see. The house is all garage with a little entrance next to it. I don't like what it does to the streetscape. Well, in an emergency, I would have hit him with the gimbal, but fortunately, he wasn't that kind of dog. That's the, I often get barked at, but he actually managed to get out through his fence. His owner wasn't too far away though, so that was good. She was telling him to go home. Don't know if he listened. Now, here's a little interesting little church. Orthodox, clearly, from the Onion Dome. Oh, here's a brand new one then here on the corner. Really stands out in the neighborhood where there aren't a lot of those yet. 13th Avenue. This is a dead end up here, but we'll walk around to the end of it and come around again. They're doing lots of Halloween stuff. I've seen murals, there's quite a few murals on garage doors that face onto alleys, but I don't think I've seen anybody do it on one that faces onto the street. These ones are interesting with the stone and then the brick makes them stand out. Oh, I like the brick flower planter there. So this ends in a dead end. And that would be Arcola and Victoria. That's where they come together here at this intersection. So this is all commercial along here. And then that's where the cars are going over there is Victoria, and then Arcola goes off at an angle over here. Could go that way. Maybe I will. just to be different. See where this, how this will work out. Somewhere along here is New Dance Horizons. I think it's still in front of me. I don't think it's behind me. They have an old, I think it's an old school that's their studio. But I think it's probably a little further up yet. I don't know if I'll get to it or not because of the because I don't know where I'm going, so I don't know how it'll all work out. Nice paved alley here. This is all new to me, walking-wise. I only occasionally had any reason to even drive into this neighborhood and never had reason to. Okay, now here's the church again, back at the church. And this must be their fellowship, if that's what they call it in Orthodox churches. Never did see a sign on the place, so I don't know what the name of the church is. Unless it's around here. Ah, St. Michael's. So it must be St. Michael's Church, since that's St. Michael's Hall. But clearly an Orthodox church. I think that one's a little small to be a McMansion, but certainly bigger than the other things in this neighborhood. All right, we will go down the next street, not the alley. They all get cut off by our cola down here as it angles. Turns into highway. What number is that? Is that 6? Anyway, takes you out. I have been out along Arcola and walked further out towards the neighborhoods that are further down Arcola. And of course, one problem with wind is it gets dust in my contacts, which I now have, which is very unfortunate. And unpleasant. And all I can do is hope that my eye waters enough to clear it out, because it's definitely watering. All right, we'll walk back down to College Avenue again. Ah, man. It's very uncomfortable, and nothing I can do about it easily. Yeah, maybe I've cried enough now to get rid of it. More of the little houses. Another new, bigger one down there. I guess that's the word for it, these houses. You can see, made from the same pattern. They're kind of mirror images of each other. Oh no, they're not even mirror images, they're exact images. That's a fairly common pattern with the peaked roof on these some of these smaller houses. I've seen that before. Like, this is a little different, but it still has the peaked roof. And here's another new one in this corner, much bigger. The corner to that one. That was not a particularly new one, but newer than many of the others. A lot of people go in for the chain link fences. I don't know if they have dogs or children, or both. Another new one over there. A lot of them, although older, you can tell they've been renovated in the not too distant past. There's new stucco or new siding, new windows, that sort of thing. There's a newer, smaller one. Another new one over there. Well, Halloween going on over there. There's one for sale on this corner, if you're looking. Planning to move to Regina. One more block down to college, and then we'll do this again in the other direction. Eventually I'll walk straight back to the, oops, the microphone just fell over to the side. Let me fix that. Pardon the noise. There we go. A couple of new ones here. Out of the wind, it's not too bad. It's probably gone up another degree or so. It's supposed to go up to 8 today, which would be, what, 8 times 9 is 72 divided by 5 is plus 32. So 47, I guess, 48 Fahrenheit for our high today, but it is windy. And right now it's probably, as I said, it was +2 when I set out, or about 36 Fahrenheit with the wind. Yeah, it's basically, it's 9/5 time the Celsius temperature plus 32 for above zero. They come together at -40, which is handy. So there's a few little businesses down here. That's a daycare, I think, if I remember right. Yeah. Child care cooperative. Some laundromat over here. Somewhere along here is where we got my daughter's graduation corsage. There's a flower shop somewhere on the other side, I think. Over there, maybe. So there's the child care cooperative. Obviously a store originally. It's hard for me to read the signs, my eyes are watering. Oh yes, over here is the Naked Sheep Yarn and Fiber Emporium. Oops, pointing at the sky for some reason. That one's empty, it looks like. Over here is Walnuts, which is catering, and you can also just pick up food to go there. Yeah, the Flower Hut over there. That's where we got Alice's graduation corsage. All right, we'll go up again. How long have I been doing this? 24 minutes. We can go quite a ways yet. Because when I walk back, it'll be a straight walk back to the car. along 14th, I guess. That's what I'll probably do. A shorter walk to Arcola because of the way it angles every time we do this. And then eventually you get to a school, and college curves and joins Arcola. We'll probably get there. They haven't had leaves picked up on this street, or if they did, it was before the wind blew them all off. They cleared ours yesterday. No, Thursday. Thursday they cleared ours. They put up signs that say, tow away, as of 4 a.m. on the morning when they're going to do it. And then you make sure your cars aren't on the street. I think they haven't always towed despite the threat, because people have failed to move their cars and you end up with a pile of leaves around that one place where somebody didn't do what they were supposed to. It's been in front of our house, which was kind of made me peevish that year, but this year everybody obeyed and the street was nice and clean. Right up until the leaves that were still on the trees started coming down. Our yard was cleared too, and it's got quite a few leaves on it again already, but nothing like it did before. I might give it a quick rake myself. This one's for sale. Big smiley face, and then skeletons and graveyards and everything else. Gravestones. Here, get a better look at it from over here. I'd say that's a newer one, or a completely redone old one with the brick on it. Although I think the houses are getting a little newer as I move further east. Which would make sense because the neighborhoods would have. There's another new one. I like the shingles like that you see on some houses. I don't know if that's a house or a like associated with the house next to it. A little footbridge in a very small yard, but it adds character. 14th. I left my car down to the left, so when I come back, I'll probably just walk along 14th here. Okay. Well, we actually have a garage, although it's full. It has 2 old cars in it, but there's a carport back there, so we put 1 car under the carport. And some people park in the alley. Could do that behind the garage. Yes, we have a garage we can't put our good cars in. It's very annoying. There's a new one. But in our case, we have the condo with underground parking, so I put 1 car over there and the other one under the carport behind the house. We don't use the carport as much as we could, just because it's a little awkward to get into the back of the house. Easier to go in the front. There's a locked gate back there. And we don't have any light back there at the moment. When we get our new deck built next year, in the spring, and get our little extension we're doing back there, we'll finally have light again. And maybe we'll start parking back there more often. Here's a new one. These are both new, obviously. Right, we'll go around the alley again here, because here's Arcola. Closer than it was at the last intersection. I'll take off my hat. My head's starting to get hot. I'll do that right until I walk into the wind here, and then I'll think, why did I do that? Anyway, I did it. So here's Arcola zipping by here. Oh, here comes a car, unexpected. Technically a truck, but you know what I mean. Now, I think I'll take the grass here so I don't end up walking down the alley again. This looks like public land, not somebody's yard. And there's enough wear. Well, on our crescent, there's only parking on one side of the street. Yes, they do both sides, but there's only parking on one side anyway. They do that on our crescent. The next crescent down, Leopold, which is big, more curved. Okay, it's the same width, but it's bigger because it's, you know, outside our crescent, so a bigger portion of a circumference. For some reason, they allow parking on both sides of that one, and it means that it's very narrow there. Actually, you often have to wait for an oncoming car if you go that way. And I don't know how that decision was made. I don't know why that crescent gets both sides parking. Our side only has one. I kind of like it, but I don't know why. They're different. Oh, back to 14th already. You can see frost has had its way with the sunflowers here. They were pretty resistant for a long time. They are done. I will go this way because that's Arcola right there. So I probably won't even get down to there. I still want to go down this one, so. So Arcola now is right there as well because of the angle. And you can see at the end of the street, you're actually turning onto it. So here's one new one for sale. Very tall and skinny because the lots are so skinny. Once more down to College. How long we've been now? 33 minutes. There's a couple of new ones. Generally, people like bigger houses than they used to make. There's not a single window on that side of that house. I find that odd. I mean, I suppose in between here, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that style, and it's very common right now. There's an older one for sale. All right, we'll go down again one more block to College. We're getting very close to the school. Over here to our left, there's the start of the school zone, in fact. Brand new school, replaced an old one. So it's quite sharp looking. Their new one. So these are small, but they're clearly of a newer vintage than the ones closer to downtown. These look more like 60s builds, I would think. Maybe 50s, but I'd guess 60s. And here's a new one, which is taking 2 lots. Another little one for sale here. Getting ready to skateboard over there, it looks like. All right, here's college again. This is Francis Street if you're following along at home. So there's the little businesses I walked by on the previous lap here. Some apartment buildings along here. School. So we'll take a turn around it. The A. Schoenthal Hermann Center, a new beginning. I would say that's a halfway house with a name like that. It's an older apartment building, or maybe a house, I don't know. Actually, it looks like a house, but it's fairly plain architecture. Apartment building. Or possibly condos, I don't know. This one's interesting with the 3 doors across. I don't know how that breaks down when you get inside. One goes upstairs, 2 on the main floor, I don't know. Harvey Street. Yeah, well, I guess to be complete, I do have to go up Harvey Street. Didn't quite get to the school on this lap. Harvey Street, named after the 6-foot-tall puka. And that will be funny to a certain percentage of people, one of whom is me. So we only go up a block on this one before we hit Arcola. And there's the school. So I guess we'll approach it from this direction. So is New Dance Horizons up here? Because I haven't come across it yet. So I guess I better walk to the end of the street to see. Oh, who's that? Hi, Imran. From where anyone can buy a second-hand car in Regina? I don't know. Used car lot, I guess. 3 doors, 1 upstairs, 1 to basement apartment, 1 to ground floor. Well, that makes sense. Do you know that, or are you just guessing? There's lots of used car lots to buy second-hand cars, plus private sales. Yes, New Dance Horizons is up there, so we'll walk up by that, and then we'll come back by the school, take a turn around it, and then I'll head back down 14th to get back to my car. And there's Arcola up there with all the cars going by. Some slightly bigger houses there for this neighborhood. Maybe it's a church, not a school. New Dance Horizons is in. Maybe it was originally a church. I've been in the building a few times. Probably has more of a church feel. It's too small to be a school. Anyway, that's our modern dance company here. Oh, here's some serious Halloween stuff going on. Ooh, oh, I like the way the witch's head is blowing around in this one. Into it. I'm just walking in Neighbourhood because I came down to where the farmer's market is right now and bought some tomatoes. Kind of the last week, well, next week will be the last week for sure. Oh boy, that seems to be the street for Halloween stuff. Look at this. What's going on in this one too? That's some serious Halloween energy here on both. So I just decided to walk down in this neighborhood because I've never walked in this little bit of Regina before. Here I am. Okay, so this is New Dance Horizons. See a poster for their upcoming performance. My best bet would be it was a church, a small church. And maybe it had a steeple on it at one point, and now it's gone. It's been New Dance Horizons for a long time. This is an interesting, bit more interesting one with the shape of the roof. So there's our Halloween friends over there. Now we'll go around the school and then head back to the car. That's got to be artificial turf. Yes, it is. One way to have a green lawn. Only other place I've seen that, well, I'm sure it's many places, but my aunt in San Diego has an artificial yard because of the water restrictions. In that climate, if you can't water, you can't keep your grass green. So people put in artificial grass to have that green. Yeah, those will be very popular with trick-or-treaters. Or perhaps a little too scary for some of the little ones. All right, so here's the school. Let's go take a quick look at it. Looks like their playground is mostly on this side. I thought that was somebody standing there, but it's actually a fire hydrant. So this is a brand new school, just built in the last few years, like very few years. I never walked around it, so this is new for me. I've driven past it. They have a very eclectic look, these schools. It's like a bunch of different styles jammed together. You got siding, you've got cindercrete, aluminum doors. Somehow it works, I think. I don't know if it'll stand up or not. 50 years from now, will people be looking at these and thinking, what were they thinking? I mean, that looks like residential siding up there, cindercrete down here, and this very kind of Mondrian modern art thing going on with those windows. That's Access Communications over there, cable company, where for 10 years or more I had a TV show, a phone-in show about computers. People would phone in with their computer questions. This almost looks like it's left over from the original school, which it might very well be. So people would say, you know, I'm having this problem, blah, blah, blah. And my job was to say, that's a very interesting question, Bob, and then give it to the actual expert. I'd answer the ones I could, but they were fairly few and far between. But that was a long time ago now. Although there are episodes believe it or not, on YouTube. If you search up net.talk, you will find some old episodes that somebody recorded and put on YouTube. I don't know why. Easily 10 years ago, I did the last one. Maybe more, I don't know. But it did last a long time. It was nice because they paid me, not a lot, but they paid me. So it was a regular weekly thing I did that made money, sort of like my science column. But when you're a freelancer, none of that stuff lasts. Every gig eventually ends. And those have ended. Alas, because I liked having something that was a fairly regular paycheck, even if it was small. The ground. So that's college there. I guess this is the main entrance. I called it Cindercrete. It's not really. A sort of stone block. Although maybe the main entrance is actually around the corner here. Some swings. So we're going to go down 14th. Straight back to the car. I don't know, maybe this is the main entrance. It's not quite as ornate, so I think this is still a side entrance. And yes, it's called Arcola Community School. And there's your look at it. Okay, we'll go straight down 14th to the car. Several blocks away now. This should be 14th. This is 14th or 15th. I might have to go up one more block eventually. This will be 15th. We'll go up another block to 14th. But since I just walked up that way, I will. Maybe I'll go up the alley to get to 14th so I don't repeat myself. Okay, we'll go up the alley to 14th and then go straight out 14th. The rest of the way to the car. So now we're going up here, we'll go behind the houses with the Halloween decorations. See, I like having the garages facing onto the alley and not facing onto the street. But that doesn't seem to be the style anymore in new neighborhoods, not many of them anyway. That's a Saskatchewan Rough Rider flag flying up there with a 13 on it. They were the tattered one, and it's well faded because that's not actually the color of green. But it's the 13th man, that's what they call the crowd. Welcome to Pill Country. Yeah, they serve Pilsner, particular type. Is one of the beers that's always been associated with football games in Regina, which is a shame because it's basically colored water as far as I'm concerned. But with the new stadium, they finally let some of the local brew pubs start selling beer, and much better. Fortunately, I heard him coming. I suppose But I don't care about their backyards. I just care about the way the street looks. I think it represents a shift in society. Front yards were the important one. You know, you'd sit out on your front stoop and you'd say hi to people and you'd watch people going by. And that was where the action was. Everybody's turned inward, and now they just want to sit in their, behind their high fences in their own backyard and not see anybody. Enjoy their own private little garden. Kind of a medieval Florence kind of thing, or any of those cities where they had the forbidding front fortified entrances to keep out the riffraff and the thieves. And then you had these beautiful gardens inside in inner courtyards. It's almost the same thing. Or perhaps I'm just being pretentious. Now we're walking toward downtown, as well as our car. Not our car, my car. Well, our car. My wife's and mine car. You can see a taller building down there in the distance. That's an apartment building, that one. Okay, now I have to decide where I'm going to walk tomorrow. That's always a challenge on weekends. It's a very long, skinny house, and I think it's just one house. So they're using all of their lot and don't have a backyard at all, so they can have a bigger house. Mustang. I walked by the front of that, but I didn't realize quite how long it was on this side. They lived on McCara. I don't know if they still do or not. I don't remember which block they were on. That one, I think, maybe? I don't know if they're still there. So I won't go knock on doors until I find them. That would seem probably not a good idea. Where are we at? 50. Yeah, that's a workout almost perfect. Just a little shy of an hour, I think, when I get to the car. Oof. Watch out for that downward step. They all have these nice wide paved alleys. Much wider than most alleys. All goes back to whoever developed this neighborhood to begin with. How they chose to lay it out. McDonald Street. There's a McDonald's. Not horribly far away, but it's not here. The street was repaved, maybe even this year. Looks quite fresh. And has no markings, which is usually a sign of a street that was done very recently, and they just haven't gotten around to painting it yet. That alley looks every bit as new. Here's the Ritchie. Sorry, the Core Ritchie Community Center. So we're practically on top of the car. It's just up here. And in fact, I think I'll stop on this intersection because I'm that close. So Oh, what is the temperature today? It was 2 degrees Celsius when I set out. It's gone up a little bit since then. It's probably 4 or something like that now. Okay, so we'll stop here at the Ritchie Center again. Thanks for walking it with me, and I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.